Okay, so basically, I read the Evan Frankel book, and um, besides what I thought about it, I'm also going to answer some questions and um, say what I thought the book meant and what there are meant in general. They're actually a rather weird couple. They did a lot of strange things to get publicity, and in some way, it worked. Actually, it worked every time, and they their art was just really strange, but cool in a way, and very, very political. And that's what I thought of the book. But the questions that I have in front of me for class, I feel like they kind of go in different sections. So I'm going to talk about who were the people that were made up and who were the people that were really important in their art. And then I'm also going to talk about their political stances and why they did certain things or why I thought they did certain things according to what I read in the book. And then I'm also going to give my opinion on the last question that has to do with the library and Starbucks, which I'll explain later. But so the first question is, who's Luther Blissett? And Luther Blissett is he was kind of it was a name, it was a made-up name that artists used, so they would hide their identity, but also they would have this common identity. So everybody would use this name and put all their work under this name. So people wouldn't show who they are, and then they had this hidden identity, but at the same time had a common identity working together for artistic causes of all kinds. So there's all different artists that would use it, not only visual arts, but then like music and everything. They would all go under this name and use it, and Evan Franco actually used this name for a very long time for various reasons. And yeah, so they used this, and they would actually put all their credit onto this name instead of putting themselves out there and saying, I did this. They would actually just say that Luther Blissett did it. And actually, Luther Blissett lasted a very long time until they committed a suicide. And the reason why he committed the suicide, this fake character committed the suicide, is because it kind of took a stance for that's the biggest way to go out of a cult. That's the greatest way to make a statement, is to commit suicide when you're leaving a cult, and that's what they thought that they were. The common identity was the cult. Which leads me to the next person, which is Darko Maver. This person is actually the one that Evan Franco made up on their own. They thought it would be really cool to make up this completely fake identity and twist around and see if you could make something fake into reality and make other people believe that it's true. So the whole thing with Darko Maver, they actually found this guy to act as him, and they created a biography, a very interesting biography, so they could really sell this person and make people believe that this person is real. So they actually created a biography, they had a website and everything, and then word got out about this person, and the further it got, the more people started to believe in him, and some of the work wasn't even Darko, like he was a supposed artist, and he would have all these art galleries and everything, but even Franco actually made up everything that he did and would make it believe like he's an actual person, so much so that real people actually thought that he was a person and actually bought into this lie. And everybody got so caught up in this that he basically had a fan club. This fake person had a fan club, and that just, it kind of showed that even Franco can kind of twist reality and make people believe that it's a real person. So he has more details about what he did or what they made this fake person do. But in the end, they also made him kill himself. They used a fake person. They used a fake actor to act like he committed suicide, because again, that is the greatest way to leave like your life. It makes a very big statement when you do that. So that's the reason why they made him do that. The next question is, what questions do the lives of Blissett and Maver provoke us to consider. I feel that that question can't be answered, or it has to be answered with what they say about us and our lives now, today. And it makes me think of when people have fake avatars or fake profiles on like Facebook or anything else. I hate to use that as an example, but it's a perfect example. When there's fake MySpace, fake Facebooks, people use that because they want to create this identity, another life that they can't actually have. So Evan Franco actually realized that, like, way before we had Facebook or MySpace, they realized that you can create these identities. You can completely live as a second person, a third person, as many identities as you want, and nobody will ever know. And they showed that with their Darko, the character Darko that they made. They actually proved that they can do that, and it's true. Like, if you think about it, like, how many fake profiles are there? How many times have people found that their own profiles have been copied and people are acting as your person? Like, it's just completely parallel to what we're going through today, but it doesn't seem as weird when you think about it in that way. Like, what they did might seem weird when you think about it at first, how they created these fake people and these fake identities to hide themselves and hide what they did. But then you think about it, people do that every day. So the question is that the lives of those two characters provoke us to think about, like, how you never know, like, the truth, or the truth can be skewed so much that you might think that it really is the truth. You don't really know, especially over the media and, like, internet and everything. You don't know, like, who you're talking to, so it could really be, like, skewed in that way. And I don't know if that's art. I actually was thinking about it, if it is art or not. And in a way it is art. It's like your art of creating a person and being able to create a whole identity for somebody, a whole life, and really commit to making that person and making their life, and being dedicated into making it seem so real that other people actually buy into it. And it happens every day. So that kind of connects to the other question about comparing Eva and Franco, what they did in 2001 to 2011. So they also used live sharing, live sharing was basically you open this box where people can see your complete personal life. And it's kind of funny because you think about it now and everybody's so into having their personal life, like, closed and everything. But then there's Facebook, there's Twitter, there's, like, all these things where you can, like, tell people, and it's kind of funny, you hear about how people want their privacy and how people just, like, whenever their rights are, like, whenever their rights are taken away, where they don't have that privacy and they don't have, like, their personal life to themselves, they get really angry and they, like, don't like it, they fight back. But at the same time, you have Facebook, you have Twitter, and you have all these social media networks about you promoting yourself and talking about yourself and telling people where you are at that moment, your thought every single day. It's kind of, it contradicts itself. So I think Eva Franco actually saw that with the life sharing. It's kind of like, okay, you want to see my life, here's my life, this is what I'm doing. It's just a really weird thought to think that we contradict ourselves so much that it's like you fight for your right so much to have this privacy, but at the same time you're letting all this information about your life out on the internet, and who knows if it's real or not. But the point is that people contradict themselves, and it's weird. So Evan Franco also made fake newspapers and fake movie posters, and this kind of ties into why they made fake people. It's because it's so easy, the media is so easy to manipulate and make believe that it's real. Like, what they did is they made all these fake New York Times, and they were saying that the war in Iraq is over, and basically, like, all the years we were in the war was a big mistake, and that the president was in trouble for treason. And they passed it out. They actually sit on the corner in New York, and they passed it out. And a lot of people believed it. A lot of people were angry, but a lot of people were so gullible to actually believe what they read from these fake newspapers, because everybody just like assumes right away that the media is correct. And they just completely took advantage of that people do believe in that, and they also like made their political statement in that way by lying to everybody that they gave these newspapers to, and it worked. Like, they just proved themselves right again. So the fake movie poster as well, they really like showed that what they did was they got all these like huge stars and made like a whole plot and everything, really dedicated to making this movie seem real. They had like trailers, they had a website for it, they had posters that they posted everywhere, like internationally. So they really dedicated into making this look like it was real, and it confused people, and people didn't know whether it was real or not. And so the difference with this is that it kind of disconnected social life and the art life by confusing both sides of people, not thinking, is this real or not? And that's what they set out to do. They set out to basically like make people believe that something is reality when it's not. And they started doing this like in different ways. First, they started with the two identities that they would use, and then they did it over the internet, and then they started doing it in print and with entertainment. So they actually did it in various ways to prove that everything can pretty easily be changed to make a reality out of something that's completely fiction. So I guess the big question would be, what is net.art? The origin of that was somebody that they knew got a email that had this like had like all these different like symbols and letters and everything. The only legible thing was net.art, and they were actually looking for a website that could display like all of their work without getting any recognition for it, really. The art world was looking for that, especially on the internet, and so they actually started that, and they would use this website to really like put out there all of their works that they were doing. It was kind of a website. It was a go-to website for people that were into this type of thing, where they would really just fuck with people's minds. And they would just use this website, and they actually created viruses off of this. They would create like misleading information off of it, and just have new things like all the time. And the Nike project, what they did with the Nike project is they made this like huge commercial little building, and it was like a commercial thing that Nike was gonna buy out this little town, and that they bought models to really sell it to people that were interested in knowing more, and that they got a lot of publicity for this, and Nike was actually really mad at them. They sued them, but what it shows is that they wanted to tell them, hey, look, Nike's this huge corporation that they're probably capable of buying this city, and like next they'll buy like all these other different cities and everything, because that's how powerful they are. So they wanted to show people that, and then that question also links to the university library should be Starbucks library. What that question is, if you don't go to Cal State Long Beach, you don't know that inside of our library is Starbucks. And a lot of people go to that library for Starbucks, and that Starbucks is always completely packed. So, should it be Starbucks library? I'm not really sure. I think that library is kind of dead other than Starbucks, but people do go there for finals and everything. But maybe it should, because who knows, like, if that Starbucks wasn't in our library, like, who would actually go to that library besides finals or midterms? So maybe it should be Starbucks library. So yeah, hopefully that was very informative and answered all those questions for this project. I actually